The Suffragettes. I have wanted to see this film since I first heard it was being made, and it didn't disappoint me. It was a really good film. It's kind of one of those parts of history, I think, that everybody knows but doesn't know in great detail unless you've actually looked into it. Like, even in history classes, I remember that I was in, it's kind of touched upon, but it's not really looked into. And then you kind of realise it's not actually that much of history, really. As in, it hasn't even been 100 years in this country since women got the vote. I didn't realise that until yesterday when we were watching the film. I think it's kind of something that just kind of passes you by. You just forget these things, and these things should be forgotten. And I think that's one of the really important reasons why this film was so good. It kind of really highlighted the effort that women went to earn the vote for themselves, and the reasons behind why normal women did it. And things like that. Like, I quite like the fact it didn't really follow really sort of famous figureheads in the suffragette movement. Obviously, Emily Dickinson and Emmeline Pankhurst were featured, but it followed more the character Maud and her reasons for why she wants to join up and things like that in just the East London branch in Bethnal Green of the Suffragettes. So it kind of, I don't know, it felt quite nice to see it from sort of a person's point. I know the other people are people, but it kind of, you know their story, or you know the big points of their story. This was just a random woman that joined up for reasons, and at first she didn't really think she wanted to join up. She was kind of under the impression of what a lot of women were at the time as well, that it wasn't worth it, and that it was quite I'm not saying disrespectful, because that's not what I'm kind of just quite not quite a common thing to do. Like, they were common as in sort of lower classes, and it was quite, they were known for vandalising and damaging public property and things like that, and so it wasn't seen as a very respectable thing to do. And as such, not a lot of women joined up, and you kind of see the reasons why. In some ways she's pushed into it, and in some ways she joins up because she begins to realise how important it is. So you have that kind of balance and struggle with things. You have things like the impact of the fact that women didn't have any rights to their children, and how that impacted on their lives. The way women were treated in the workplace, how they could be abused and taken liberties of, and nothing really could be done. And even the way the police force treated these women that were sort of peacefully protesting at some points, and they were just beaten for no real apparent reason. They weren't really a threat. They didn't really attack anyone in a way that was going to make it dangerous for another person's life within the film, and yet you still see them being constantly retaliated. They obviously have some moments which could be dangerous to people and can make it question other people's safety, but quite a lot of the moments they're not really putting anyone at risk. They're just kind of making themselves a nuisance so they can be heard kind of situation, and the police are just relentless with it, and it was quite interesting. The film itself has actually quite some harrowing scenes to watch. The force feeding scene was not pleasant. I actually don't think I watched that in its entirety because I couldn't, because it was so well done that it made me feel really uncomfortable, because obviously I know how factual it was and how women actually went through this, and so it made it a lot more painful to watch. There were moments that really did make me cry. There were moments that really made me think, and moments that really made me feel proud to be a woman. I've always been a feminist. I've always been quite a strong feminist, and I've never been ashamed to call myself a feminist. The word to me is not a bad word, and so I don't understand the negativity that surrounds it, and as such I don't really have a problem with being referred to as a feminist, and as such I knew I was going to enjoy this film anyway. But it does make you come out feeling like really just sort of proud and passionate, and realising in some ways that it's not at a level that it should be still. And Emmeline Pankhurst's speech in it is actually, it still feels as relevant as it does today as it did nearly 100 years ago now, and that kind of really hit a resonance with me. I feel like it's a sort of film that sort of everybody can watch. I think it's important that everybody does, and it is just a brilliant film within its own, but I feel like it's gonna hit you in a different way if you're a woman. personally. I feel like it will impact you in many different ways and sort of open your eyes to things that you were aware of but have maybe forgotten. That's behind the best way I could put it. But on a more sort of film sense, it was actually a really, really good film. It was really well made. There were some brilliant performances. Helena Bonham Carter did a fantastic job. I do really enjoy watching that woman on screen. I do think she's brilliant. Carey Mulligan carried the film wonderfully. I thought Meryl Streep did do a good job. Personally, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but personally I would have rather another actress did it. I would have rather it was a British actress. That sounds quite bad now saying it out loud, but personally I would have preferred someone like Emma Thompson or something like that. I just feel like it's such a strong part of British history that I understand the fight and the struggle for women is everywhere, but the suffragettes are a very big part of. I would have liked it because I feel like her British accent wasn't as strong as I've seen in other roles she's done, and I don't know, but maybe that's just me and my bias that I have and thinking that I do think British cinema is some of the best. I do think we produce some of the best actors and actors, so maybe that's why. But I love Meryl Streep, so you know, Meryl Streep, she's one of the queens of Hollywood, and as such, she did do a very good job. It's just me being picky. Overall, it was a fantastic film. It had enough balance of historical accuracy and information without kind of taking away from the plot. You don't feel like you're just watching a documentary being bombarded with facts. There was a real story and consistency to it. There was moments of humour, moments of sorrow, and just really empowering moments that I really enjoyed. I also really liked the bit at the end where they listed what years women got the vote all over the world, and then the fact that in 2015 women still don't have the vote, which I was aware of, but when you see it listed like that, it's still quite shocking. But it's just a brilliant film. I feel like it's a film everybody needs to see, but also is enjoyable, so it shouldn't be a hardship if you're going to see it. Personally, I would give this film a 9 out of 10. I can't really fault it in many ways at all. It was just brilliant. It was just a really, really good film. So that's what I thought of The Suffragettes. If anyone else has seen the film, please let me know below what you thought of it. Just you're getting the gist of it now, but just positive, negatives, I don't mind. I would just like to hear your opinion. And I hope everyone is well. Bye!